Business arising from minutes. Is there any business arising from minutes? Hearing none, we shall move on. New business. Is there any new business to present tonight? Councillor Langna, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say last week it was great to be in Gander for the M&L Symposium with other members of council. It's always great to get out and have the opportunity to connect with like-minded councils around the province, and always learning and engaging in the municipal government.
All right, thank you. Any other new business to add? Hearing none, we shall move on to correspondence. In front of you, you'll see a Deer Lake Regional Airport letter of support asking for a signature and to return. That's been done. No other further correspondence. We shall move into committees. Finance Councillor Freak, please.
Myself, Councillor Jones, Councillor Fitzgerald, and new town manager Jason Young. It was our first finance meeting without Maxine, so we wish her well and certainly missed her. So quote number 1, for the server upgrades and email hosting, the town manager software for $1,495, and a separate quote for the email hosting for $368. We recommended the approval, along with checking to push our emails from nf.aibn. or aibn.nf.ca, whatever it was, to kind of keep pushing that out. Item number 2. The lean-to structure at the back of the Hodder was $51,750, recommended approval. Item number 3 was the furnace repairs at the Public Works Depot for $1,162.65, recommended approval. Tax exemptions for the following 4 accounts, we recommended approval. The recommendation came from the town manager and Krista Jones under their review. Item number 5, Black Star tree removal for $1,207.50, recommended approval. Item number 6, the funding availability letters for the schools and the treehouse. We recommend sending the letters to the school and the treehouse advising of the funding amounts, and we'd like to arrange a meeting where we can maybe do a Zoom call to review the letters, so we can fully explain, have some conversations, and kind of bring those 4 department heads together. So I make a motion for our finance report.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favour? Motion carried. Thank you. Accounts payable. Councillor Freak, please.
So we're going to exclude number 5 and number 43. So items number 1 through 47 with those 2 exclusions for the amount of $104,569.78. I make a motion to pay the invoices.
All right, moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by
Second.
Councillor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favour? Motion carried.
Doing 5?
Yep, just before you step out though, we had asked for the notes in our accounts payable to be a little bit more detailed. I had item number 36, for example, just to state it's a public document, but just maybe adding something so we know what it is. If you guys got questions, maybe a little bit more detailed in that way. But yeah, we're hoping for an update on those notes for you. Okay.
Are you ready to commence? Remember the symposium? You can sit in the gallery and answer.
Okay, item number 5, the invoice for B&S Trucking for $2,737. I make a motion to pay the invoice.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by
Second that.
Councillor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favour? Motion carried.
Oh, I know the other one, item number 21. If you just have a quick look at that one. Remember we wanted the event put on there? So just, yeah, the legal fees is a bad example.
All right.
Now stepping down.
Yep.
Yeah, there was another one too that was very...
Okay, so according to legislation, Councillor Jones is allowed to sit in the gallery. So item number 43 for Western Steelworks for $100.26. I make a motion to pay the invoice.
Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Hancock. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Alrighty. We shall move on to... Alright, that concludes finance, accounts payable. Thank you, Councillor Freak. Moving on to environment and housing. Councillor Jones, please.
Okay, our environment and everything, just got to do one correction there before I do it. Under number 31, it's supposed to be Floyd Pippin is the new business. And I'm going to do items number 1 to 33, and I'm going to do a separate motion for number 34. So we had a meeting on May the 10th, myself, Superintendent Dave Thomas, Jason Young, and Krista Jones. Items number 1 to 11 is our general repairs. Recommend permits have been issued. Number 12 to 20, these permits have been issued for the decks and extensions of patios, etc. Accessory buildings 21 and 26. These permits meet our regulations, and we accept these permits for these accessory buildings. Number 2755 Goose Arm Road, new dwelling. Recommend approval. Under commercial, 3 Nicholsville Road, roof work. The permit has been issued. And number 29 is 175 Goose Arm Road, interior rentals and siding. The permit has been issued. Number 30 for land development, 1517 Tower Road for 50 loads. Permit has been issued. And as I stated before, number 31 is the name change, and it's 4 Scott Drive. It's a heat pump sale. This was deferred from last meeting for more information. We did confirm it's just an home-based business for installing heat pumps only. Number 32, 2123 Hillside Drive, seeking approved to develop empty shed into storage units. This property has been approved for business in the past, and we recommend approval. Number 33, 9 Goose Arm Road, seeking permission to put up a 8-foot fence. Decline as it do not meet our regulations. So I move that we accept the environment nosing report from items number 1 to 33.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, for number 34, I'll do a separate motion, and this is for rezoning for our subdivision along the river marine subdivision. We went through the next steps to change it. So the municipal plan amendment number 2, and council, so we got to vote on this final draft. And the motion reads, example, or as presented. Be resolved that with the release of municipal plan amendment number 2, 2022, and development regulations amendment number 2, 2022 from provincial review, and the environment and Energy Committee recommends adoption of the municipal plan amendment number 2, 2022, and development regulations amendment number 2, 2022 as amendment of the Town of Deer Lake Development Regulations as per section 16 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, we shall move on. That concludes reports, Councillor Jones. We shall move on to Public Works. Councillor Fitzgerald, please. Oh, sorry, I skipped over. My tabs are different. ECO, Economic Development, sorry about that. Councillor Hancock.
Yep. Economic Development met on May 3rd at 12 p.m. In attendance, myself, Councillor Amanda Freak, Town Manager Jason Young, Director of Recreation Glenn Wiseman, and Administrative Assistant Krista Jones. Number 1, Trail Planning. Committee met with representatives from the trail crew to discuss plans for 2023 and to initiate potential work plan for this season. Under this, number 2, Strawberry Festival, the Administrative Assistant Recreation Director discussed having the Trails crew construct new festival booths. Provincial government funding has been approved for this project. Trails crew, Recreation Director, and Admin Assistant left the meeting upon completion of this topic. Number 3, ATV Trails and the Junction Trailblazers. The committee agreed to invite members of the Junction Trailblazers to our next meeting to discuss ATV trail development in the town of Deer Lake. Under number 4, affordable housing, committee has been inviting in local developers to discuss potential for affordable housing developments Committee has been inviting in local developers to discuss potential for affordable housing developments within a community, and which is desperately needed. Number 5, promotion video. Committee members will reach out to neighboring communities to explore options for the RFP for this project. That's the promotion video for like the seasonal piece. So we'll probably reach out to a couple other communities that have completed this already and not restart, Motion to accept the report as presented.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Hancock, seconded by Councillor Freak. Call for a question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Alrighty. Now we're moving on to Public Works. I got this. I like this advanced the tabs, but sometimes when I'm not used to them, I just overlook it and go back to the paper. Anyway, thank you for that. Moving on to Public Works. Councillor Fitzgerald, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a quick meeting there at Public Works on May 11th, 2023. In attendance was Councillor Langdon, Public Works Superintendent Dave Thomas, Town Manager Jason Young, and myself. Item number 1, spring cleanup update. Spring cleanup is officially underway and it was effective May 11th with the drop-off location at Public Works. Curbside has started on today, May 15th, 2023. Residents are reminded to review the list of acceptable and non-acceptable items for cleanup. There was an error in the first one saying tires. Tires are not acceptable, so residents need to kind of take a look at that one. Number 2, the street sweeper update. Public Works continues to conduct street sweeping throughout the town. Many streets require 2 passes from the sweeper for effective cleaning. Street sweeping has to be coordinated with other public works projects such as water and sewer related projects and road repairs. So just give us a few weeks to make sure that we get this done. Road repair updates. Public Works has made massive progress with the many road repairs throughout the community. But some repairs on major intersections have to be coordinated, like that of Chapel Hill, where the schools are where we're going to align with the school's professional development day to try and offset the traffic disruptions for the school. Item number 4, Whites Road Storm Sewer. A letter will be drafted to the contractor to discuss the warranty work related to the damaged head wall within the storm sewer infrastructure in this area from previous construction. With that, I recommend we accept the Public Works meetings of May 11th.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Fitzgerald, seconded by Councillor Langdon. Call for question.
Yeah, I have a question about number 1. You mentioned the tires. I think that's a good change. I'm wondering about leaves. I've seen 7 million bags of leaves. Just wondering.
Yeah.
No, like I know I'd like for them to end up at the compost, ideally. But like, what's that one's also not listed on the for or against kind of or the acceptable, non-acceptable anywhere on the.
Well,
What's the leaf one?
Composted, I believe, there, Superintendent.
What we do is we have another truck that goes out.
Oh, okay.
We collect all the leaves, we bring them into the compost site.
Okay.
dump
Yeah.
them off.
Good. I mean, that's one of my biggest things, just making sure it gets in there, really.
Extra weight going in.
100%.
And
And we want the compost. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
I just,
Thank
good,
you.
good note, Councillor Hancock. I'd just like to add, and I understand it's a change in culture, history, how we've done it, but with the new waste management program, when you put a couch out a month ahead of time and it rains 3 or 4 times and you
That's
add
true.
20
That's
pounds
true.
to that
That's true.
couch, it ultimately comes back to every taxpayer. So
Yeah.
if we can, as a community, share it until we, hopefully can progress to have a more efficient local system, there's a lot of brass tacks, there's a lot of extra dollars that we're paying out from the
That's true.
taxpayers fund
Sure.
by putting your garbage out weeks in advance. So I just wanted to stress that.
And
again.
Mayor, just to add to that, the superintendent and I discussed today that many people that are putting out couches, chairs, tables, and are putting it well in advance. There are several churches in the community that will avail. So even if you have to
Yeah.
reach out to us here at the town office,
Absolutely.
is that prior to having it left out there, because to your point, you know, the weather will destroy it, but it'll also destroy it in terms of a donation.
Yeah.
And there are people that will certainly avail of that. So that's why on that flyer it does discuss only putting it out, you know, several days beforehand. But by all means, reach out to the staff here at the office if you do have items that you feel are of value to another community or another family, because there are several churches here in the town that will certainly look to reuse that and repurpose it, and it doesn't end up in our landfill.
Perfect, thank you. No,
Yeah.
that's great points. Ultimately, every less, item that goes across the weight scale is the ultimate plan of waste management, ultimately. But again, it's a culture change for all of us, myself included, and I'm just looking at that. Even, 10 ounces of cardboard turns into triple the amount of weight.
That's
So
true.
when you get thousands of residents, it can be quite costly.
Yeah, I was like picturing a mattress.
Mhm.
It's like a diaper or something, like it just,
Yeah.
that's going to be like crazy.
It is.
You know what I
right?
mean?
And we've been
Couldn't help but think of
fortunate
that.
we
That's the
haven't
truth.
had a lot of rain, but it's a cost, and I mean ultimately it comes back to the taxpayer. So, just one quick question, if you don't mind, to Chair of Public Works or Superintendent, which I guess ultimately would know more in respect. Sorry, Councillor, can we get a developed road? And this is not sprung on you, pardon upon. ASAP, but just for street sweeping. That doesn't have an AVL, does it? Because ultimately, okay, so you can actually design your route of path or shows you your path with AVL. And the other thing I just want to know, it's starting again, and it's a good complaint, but the rail bed every year annually creates a lot of dirt that's pushed down the Main Street Canal, North Main and South Main. And I think we really got to look at a permanent way to fix that, because it's becoming a safety issue above aesthetics. Like I'm seeing street bikes kind of scooch and skid, and it is that time of year you're going to, especially again if you get heavy rainfalls, it's going to make its way. I don't know if there's something like we put on the end of Goose Arm Road, if that would work, Councillor or Superintendent, just in those immediate areas, even if it was 200 feet or.
Mayor, I can add that as well. It's another discussion that also the superintendent and I had about the recycled asphalt that we currently have in the Public Works yard.
Mhm.
So we've been looking at, and Dave, our superintendent, can probably fill us in a little bit more, getting some equipment that'll actually separate that material and make it easier for use. And one of the areas we did identify was the sections of the railway bed that does bring the material out onto the paved surface, which causes, issues for traffic, motorcycles and ATVs. So that is something, and Dave, you can probably add a little bit more about what our plans were for do up there in the yard on that.
Yeah, we're looking at, renting a screener, when the spring comes, I'll take care of, we have room back to prepare. When you screen it, a lot of material has been dumped there over the years, there's millings, asphalt that we use for our, potholes. All the millings that we have, take them and use them on those areas.
No, great. I'm glad to hear. Again, ultimately, it's just that I can't stop. I'm that tolerant, and as you know, Dave, I've been that tolerant since the last term of aesthetics, and maybe probably because I wiped it a couple times on street bike myself that I'd pay extra attention to it. But I appreciate that updates. Thanks so much. Any more questions for Public Works Committee report? Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Okay, perfect, thank you. Moving on to Health and Wellness, Deputy Mayor Young, please.
Health and Wellness met April 18th at 7 p.m. This is a bit dated, but we'll fire down through it. In attendance, myself, Councillor Hancock, Mayor Guzny, Lori Humphrey, and 2 members of our community ad hoc committee, Tina Oak and Karen Brown. All FYIs quickly, and again, they are a bit dated here now, but number 1, the traditional skills workshop. At that point, we're getting going with the vegetable gardening. Number 2, our newcomer initiative work is ongoing. We're still continuing to collect information and goods from the community. Number 3, move more, stress less. We're continuing with this. We're actually creating a bit of an online portal for more community engagement. Number 4, a wellness fair. June 3rd is National Wellness Day. So we were looking at hosting a wellness fair here in the community. Number 5, biking challenge. Again, this one is still kind of pretty early in its infancy, but looking at kind of creating a bit of a kilometer challenge, looking at perhaps a charity to donate, and different details regarding that. Number 6, the skate library. Just to follow up on that, I think we've talked about that previously, but the $5,000 grant was received to create the skate library. And Lori was looking at some purchasing skates for those in need. And finally, number 7, the Dolly Parton Library. Did get hold of this group. They do have funding available for the next 2 years for all the communities that are listed there in the promotion. So we've agreed to kind of help them in terms of moving forward and help them promoting for children in this community and surrounding communities. So I move that we accept the minutes for Health and Wellness, April 18th.
All right, thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Young, seconded by Councillor Hancock. Call for a question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to Arts, Recreation and Culture. Councillor Langdon, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for information as well, I have 2 reports tonight. The first one for the Department of Arts, Recreation and Culture was on April 27, 2023. In attendance was Councillor Gordon Hancock, Councillor Brett Langdon, Deputy Mayor Melanie Young, Director of Recreation Community Services Glenn Wiseman, and Town Manager at the time, Maxine Hayden. The meeting started at 8:30 a.m. All of these items are for council information. Item number 1 is the beach trail system. The Recreation Department will be creating a section of trail running from the Park Road in the Nicholsville area to the existing trail. The new section will run along the boundary line of the municipal park. The park trail is designed so that it ends at the Park Road and begins again at Nicholsville Road, ensuring that we have connectivity throughout our entire trail network in the community. Item number 2 is the co-ed softball. There's been an increase in the number of softball teams for the 2023 season. It now consists of 4 teams, one of the teams from the neighboring community of Reedville. So they will begin their season on May 23rd and run 2 nights each week, Tuesday and Thursday, from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. And I believe they are still looking for more numbers there if people are interested in getting engaged. Item number 3 is pole banners around the community. The Recreation Department will be purchasing 12 double-sided pole banners that will replace the current Come Home Here banners along both Commerce Street and Main Street. These banners will be 2 feet by 5 feet, so significantly larger than the pre-existing, and they will be designed to highlight various activities within the community of Deer Lake and our history. Item number 4, lobby design for the recreation complex. The town manager and director of Recreation Community Services have been in contact with 4J Menchington Architects to have a design created for the lobby of the recreation complex. This design will complement the new annex and as it connects to the new and existing building. The work is part of the annex construction, and as we move forward with this work. Item number 5 is World Ocean Day Community Cleanup. On June 8th is World Oceans Day. The Recreation Department staff and students at Elwood Junior High School, I think it's a typo, Xavier Junior High School, will perform a cleanup along Commerce Street and the Deer Lake Beach. The Recreation Department would like to highlight and commend all the students and staff of Xavier Junior High for the continued annual commitment and support in this cleanup effort. The meeting adjourned at 10:30 a.m. I make a motion to accept these minutes.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Langdon, seconded by Deputy Mayor Young. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Councillor Langdon.
Thank you, Mayor. And the Department of Arts, Recreation and Culture met on May 11th, 2023. In attendance was Councillor Gordon Hancock, Councillor Brett Langdon, Director of Recreation Community Services Glenn Wiseman, and the new town manager Jason Young.
Number 2. You want to do it separate, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'll do the meeting started at 8:30 a.m. and it's I'll do item 1, 3, and 4, exempting item number 2. That's fine there, Councillor Jones.
Thank you.
Yeah, just for the record, Krista will record Councillor Jones declared a conflict for item number 2. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Councillor Langan.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor. Item number 1 is sod cutter. The Recreation Department recommends approval for the purchase of a sod cutter. The sod cutter will be used to perform maintenance on sports fields and other areas within our community and can be used by the Public Works Department when they need it. Item number 3 is boat docks. The Recreation Department is currently in the process of prioritizing all of our routine maintenance and setup for this year. So right now we're currently prioritizing sports fields to ensure they are all ready for the summer season. After the fields are ready, the Recreation Department will be placing the boat docks in the Humber River for fishing and boating season. And among this priorities are things like setting up benches, garbage cans, and numerous other things around our community. Item number 4 is the Main Street Festival and Annual Car Show. Deer Lake Live will be hosting the annual Main Street Festival and Car Show tentatively on July 18th, the Wednesday prior to Strawberry Festival. After last year's success, the committee has decided to make this festival the second annual edition of this. And once again, that will be on the Wednesday before Strawberry Festival. I make a motion to accept items 1, 3, and 4.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Langan, seconded by Deputy Mayor Young. Call for question. Hearing none, motion carried. All right, Councillor Langdon. Councillor Fisher.
Thank you. Item number 2 on the agenda is the compost screener. The Recreation Department recommends approving the purchase of a compost screener. The screener will be custom built by Western Steel and will be able to be moved by the Recreation Department's equipment. The screener will provide the town employees and general public access to partially screened compost to be used in town projects and residential gardens. I make a motion to accept this item.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Langan, seconded by Councillor Hancock. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor, motion carried. All right, thank you. That concludes reports. You won't see it on your agenda, but I have, as you're aware, I've added Mayor's report. That's something new, Chris, that we've kind of put in the last 3 or 4 meetings, so, and there's not always a report to present, but anyhow, I just wanted to give you a heads up for that one. Let me see, I don't have a whole bunch to report, but again, this is a place or a time in this meeting that if anyone has anything to add or they wish to add that they forgot through the meeting or that they like to bring forward, by all means feel free. At this time, I'd just like to say I was fortunate enough to attend a minor hockey tournament, or not tournament, sorry, but a parade that went through town to celebrate the win, successful banners for female U18, female U13s, and the U13 males and females hockey team. So it was pretty energetic. They had lots of energy and kind of made me feel like a kid again to get up in the back of a truck, and it was all approved by parents. So I was the only one pretty nervous, or probably nervous, but it all went really well, and congratulations to each of those fine folks. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and I mean, if you looked around the community, I don't know if there was an empty seat in this community, and it just tells to the importance of a mother, you know, in a family, and it was just it was really highlighting just to see everybody celebrating such an important day for such important people in our community. So I don't know, I've been around the province quite often, and Deer Lake seems to shine on that day a little more than anywhere else, because I was a little late in the mix to get that last card rush when I usually make them sometimes, and there was not a card barely to be gotten in this community, so that speaks volumes of members of our community. Last but not least, if anyone that's watching tonight would notice that Maxine is no longer here. She's officially retired after 42 years of service. We've congratulated her for her service, sitting with numerous councils over decades. You know, it's not always an easy task. You have different opinions, different faces, different challenges within. So I just wanted to pay respect to Maxine real quick again. I know I did it in the last meeting, but now it's official with Maxine. I hope she's enjoying her first 2 weeks of retirement, and that, yeah, Bill, you know who the boss is. I just had to say that. So Anyhow, with that being noted, you would also notice that we have a new town manager, which I'd also like to congratulate as a successful candidate through the process and the hiring, Mr. Jason Young, and we look forward to the energy, experience, and professional diplomatic approach that you've shown, and I know you'll continue on to do to help us serve this community. So I'd like to give him a round of applause if we could. Thanks. Any words, Mr. Manager? I just put you on the spot.
No, I'd just like to pay respect to Maxine as well. She's been a great mentor, especially today, I guess, preparing for today's meeting. It was our first day without her, at the wheel. And especially last week, I had to write up, I think, 4 different sets of minutes for committee meetings. And her input and feedback in terms of grammatical and spelling errors we're sorely missed in today's agenda as well. So, Maxine and Bill, if you're watching, we've been thinking about you each day, especially preparing for today's meeting, to make sure things stay as smooth and steady as they always did when you were here. Thanks.
Perfect. Well said, Manager Young. Anyone else have anything to add tonight?
One last round of applause for Maxine.
There you go. All right, if nobody else has anything to add to tonight's meeting, I'll call for an adjournment. Moved by Councillor Langdon. The meeting is adjourned.